Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 5th. Here's what we're working on this morning. Hamilton police investigating a shooting that happened last night near Gage Park.
A fire that destroyed several homes in Burlington is now under investigation.
And the Bee Gees getting a little help when it comes to saving lives. And we say a very good, happy, good Tuesday morning.
A good Tuesday morning to you.
Tuesday
morning. Hello, Brian.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, it's good so far.
Yes.
Temperature's a little chillier than it was yesterday morning, but still not bad. You know, we're sitting about -1, wind chill of -2, so that's okay.
Seat warmers feel good.
Oh, yeah.
A good seat warmer.
Yes.
I had it on high today.
Did you?
Yeah.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Yes.
You know, and you know, even though it's milder some mornings, it still feels nice. You know, you get used to that. Ooh, that feels
Middle of the
so
summer,
good.
Brian's got it on in July because I just like it.
Yes, I just like it. That's all there is to it. What a way to start the day. So today we're looking at a little bit chillier temperature. Yesterday we got to 4. Today, well, not quite there. We should hit 1 to 2 degrees depending on where you are. Fairly cloudy skies. There's a chance of some flurries around. We saw a bit of sunshine yesterday. It was like, what? Okay, so hopefully today we can see a few squeaks, but otherwise cloudy with flurries for the day today. We'll talk about it coming up. Looking at traffic this morning, here's the 403, right around Waterdown Road. We put our camera up there so you could see what was going on, and there's not a lot happening at the moment. MTO traffic cameras, we are collision-free right now. Construction's coming to an end. Centennial Parkway looks good. Top of the Skyway through Burlington, east of Appleby, no problems this morning. So we'll keep you posted. Weather and traffic, of course, coming up right now. The news.
Thanks very much, Brian. Well, Hamilton police are investigating a shooting that happened last night not very far from Gage Park. Simone Gavros is there with more. Good morning, Simone.
Hi, good morning, Annette. Well, yes, I'm here near Gage Park, here on Gage Avenue, near Cumberland Avenue, and police are still here on scene after this shooting that took place last night. Now, police say they responded to this area around 11 p.m. on Monday night for possible shots fired. Right now, 3 people are under arrest. One of the people involved suffered a minor injury, according to police. Now, police have yet to release the description of the 3 people arrested last night and what charges they may be facing. The police continue to investigate the area and are asking residents to check surveillance cameras and dash cams for any suspicious activity between the hours of 10:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. And anyone with information on the shooting that happened last night is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers with any other information. Tim, I'll send things over to you.
All right, thanks, Simone. After a number of crimes took place in Hamilton recently, some residents are worried if it's getting worse in the city. But according to data from Hamilton Police, certain types of crimes are actually down. According to the stats so far in 2023, there have been 9 homicides, 5 involving guns, and 31 shootings that resulted in 15 people being charged, 21 shooting victims, and 135 crime guns seized. Now, the number of shootings, it's down 24% since the same time last year. Meanwhile, the most recent data from Stats Canada says, which are from last year, also show that some types of crimes have gone down in the city of Hamilton. The crime severity index in 2021 was 68, and in 2022, it was 64.
Charges have been laid after a man barricaded himself inside a home and shot at police in 6 Nations of the Grand River. The police were responding to a gun call on 6th Line near Chiefswood Road in Ohsweken last Thursday night. OPP officers had been called in that morning as a backup. 29-year-old James Garlow from Ohsweken faces several charges, including attempted murder and assault with a weapon.
Well, our top story yesterday, and the cause of that fire that destroyed 3 new homes in Burlington, now under investigation. All 3 of the houses in the Walker's Line Highway 5 area of North Burlington, so they were under construction. 2 neighboring homes were damaged, including one that was occupied. Yesterday's fire is the 3rd in that area in just 2 months. Another fire in the same street caused minor damage this past weekend. Halton Police, along with the Office of the Fire Marshal, are asking witnesses to please come forward, along with anyone who might have dash cam footage near Walker's Line and Dundas Street around 4 o'clock yesterday morning. Police are also interested in vehicles seen near the Go Stop 407 carpool just west of that intersection.
A huge explosion has rocked Arlington, Virginia. It happened last night. That's the aftermath after police tried to execute a search warrant for reports that a flare gun was being fired. Police say the man inside that home discharged a flare gun 30 to 40 times from inside the house into the surrounding neighborhood. As police started to do their search warrant on the property, he started firing a rifle at officers. The tactical unit moved in just before the house blew up. Police believe the gunman was the only person inside. Several officers were hurt, but none were taken to hospital. The incident remains under investigation. A mystery respiratory illness that's been hitting dogs across the United States appears to have arrived in Canada, but one of this country's top vets says there's no need to panic. An expert in infectious disease in animals at the Ontario Veterinary College in Guelph says his figures show an increase in insurance reports of canine respiratory illness in Ontario this last year over the year before that of more than 25%. Along with more than 70% of an increase in Quebec and 32% in Nova Scotia. But Dr. Scott Weiss thinks this illness isn't a mystery. It's a combination of factors that are increasing the number of regular illnesses that dogs get after people changed their behavior around dogs during the pandemic.
A lot of COVID dogs. We have a greater population of dogs. Still, there's been some disrupted vet care. Vets are really busy. There have been restrictions over a few years. So we have more dogs that might have more, less vaccination, greater degree of risk.
Dr. Weiss says most dogs will recover from this, but some that are older or have other health problems could face complications. One of the key recommendations, if you're worried, is to keep your dog away from other dogs. Well, the Ontario government has introduced legislation to crack down on puppy mills. If it's passed, it would make it illegal to breed a female dog more than 3 times in a 2-year period, and breed a female dog younger than 1 year old.
The fines are substantial, at $10,000 to $25,000. And I want the bad actors to know that we're coming for you. You have to care for your animals. There is a proper way to breed an animal. There's an ethical way. We have to care for our animals. We can't have these sick pets. It is unfair to the pet. It's unfair to the people, the family who buys this pet and wants it as part of their family, and then it becomes sick.
The province also wants to make it illegal to separate puppies from mothers before 8 weeks of age, and to make it illegal to keep breeding dogs in filthy environments.
More rumors surrounding the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes as we get into Sportsline and the Blue Jays, as reports say he visited their Florida training facility yesterday. More on that at 7 o'clock. Special night in Vancouver as Christine St. Clair will play her final match for Canada in front of a packed house. But let's focus on what happened last night in the wide world of sports, starting with Monday Night Football. Now the Bengals, Evan McPherson kicked a 48-yard field goal in overtime to lift Cincinnati to the 34-31 win over the favorite Jacksonville Jaguars. So it pulls the Bengals into a tie with the Bills at 6-6 for a wild card spot. Big news from this one came right here. When the loss of Jags franchise QB Trevor Lawrence as his own offensive lineman stepped on his ankle in the fourth quarter, which sent him to the ground, unable to get up. Crushing loss for the Jags. C.J. Beathard came in as his replacement. Third string QB for the Jags, none other than Oakville native and former CFL standout Nathan Rourke. And let's continue with the CFL chatter and check in on the Ticats, who heading into the offseason have 37 free agents tied for tops in the league. You can make it 36 now, as yesterday they locked up Canadian defensive back Stavros Katsantonis to a 2-year contract extension. 27-year-old coming off wonderful season, recording 56 tackles, and he began as a backup but earned a starting position and was named Ticats' most outstanding Canadian on the squad. Hit the ice. Burlington's Josh Anderson finally able to score his first goal of the season, and despite it going into the empty net, I'm sure he'll take it after going scoreless for the first 25 games. It also helped the Habs beat Seattle 4-2 at the Bell Center in Montreal. Sean Monahan had 2 goals for Le Canadien in the win.
Gensel and Crosby. Gensel with a puck. Gensel to Crosby, and he scores.
So that goal by Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby, his 15th of the season, put him, the leader in the NHL, over their rivals from Philadelphia. Most points ever, passing Mario Lemieux. One of the highlights for a struggling Pittsburgh team who would lose in overtime to the Flyers as Sean Monahan scored the winner to win the final.
7 on the timer. Alberti tracked off balance 3, and he puts it in, and a chance at 4.
In the NBA, Indiana. What does that colored floor mean? In-season tournament time as the Pacers' Tyrese Halliburton, his late 4-point play propelled them to this 122-112 win over the favored Boston Celtics in the quarterfinals of the inaugural tournament. The late game had New Orleans, the Pelicans beating Sacramento, meaning they are off to the semifinals. Those 2 teams happening Thursday in Vegas. The other 2 semifinalists will be determined tonight.
6:11 already, Tuesday morning, 5th of December, and we're checking traffic. Then we'll look at the forecast. Traffic looks good. Nothing going on. 403 Waterdown Road, that's our camera once again. Nothing has really changed there. Starting in St. Catharines, and then we'll come around the Horseshoe. Here's the QEW at 7th. Nothing going on in St. Catharines at all. Centennial Parkway, still doing fine. No problems west of Brand Street, all the way through east of Royal Windsor Drive. This is going through Oakville, obviously. Toronto bound towards us. And then into Mississauga, QEW at Cawthra. Nothing to see there, which is good news. All right, temperature. How about some more good news? Our temperature's just gone up a degree. Okay, we'll take that. We're sitting at 0 right now. The winds are really light this morning, south at 4, but still give it a bit of a wind chill of -1. It is cloudy at the moment. For air quality for the day today, low risk category both morning and for afternoon. So nothing going on there. For school today, 2 degrees will be the high. So a cool day. But, you know, that's a seasonal daytime high for this time of year. Got to get used to that. Light winds. There's that chance of some flurries on and off late this morning and into the afternoon. But, yeah, pretty cloudy for the day. We still have that trough of low pressure. That's the broken line that you're seeing there. It's arcing back, and it's giving us some of the cloud cover. Low going to the south, so no precipitation as far as systems concerned around here. Just a chance of a flurry. That's about it. And the temperatures are going to get chillier. Today, temperature cooler than yesterday, 3 for Niagara. Could be some mixing precipitation. There's that chance of flurries this morning. Otherwise, fairly cloudy. Temperatures 1 and 2. Tonight, it gets cold. Not bad for Niagara, -1. But the rest of us, -6 and -7 under a mostly cloudy sky. -5 for Peel into Toronto. And then tomorrow, we're looking at 0 to -1. So a chillier day tomorrow. -1, wind chill about -4 for the day tomorrow. And we'll see. Yay! Going to see a bit more sunshine for the day tomorrow. We'll call it a mix of sun and clouds, so not a bad day tomorrow, if a touch on the chilly side. But out the door this morning, temperatures come up a degree to 0. It is fairly cloudy at the moment. We'll look long range coming up and at 10.
Okay, now we're checking in with Emily Vukovic. Welcome to your Monday.
Thank you.
After a nice long weekend.
Thank you very much. Yes, I did have a very nice long weekend, and I was surprised to see a little sunshine yesterday. That was nice.
Yes.
Brian, yes.
He said, hang on to those sunglasses because it could be coming through.
All right, well, today we're going to be talking about the #1 Christmas song, and it might not be the one that you think it is.
Thank goodness.
Right? Oh, poor Mariah.
Poor Mariah?
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
We'll see you at the couch in a little bit.
I'll be there.
Okay, coming up after the break, several major businesses pushing through with more staffing cuts, while another is looking at cutting its property holdings. Business News is next. Checking business figures at 6:16 on your Tuesday morning. The Canadian dollar is down 11 basis points to 73.77 cents U.S. Gold is up $1.20. Crude oil is up 68 cents to $73.72 a barrel. Checking the markets in Europe at midday there. They are down in London with gains in Frankfurt and Paris.
Off to Asia we go. Markets are down in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. What about North American markets kicking off the trading week yesterday? Some slight losses right across the board after some solid gains the past few weeks. Overall, it's been a really good year. Let's see how they do on this Tuesday, December the 5th.
Well, most of the hundreds of layoffs that were announced yesterday at the CBC are going to happen next spring. The head of the federal broadcaster notes that some of those jobs could be saved if revenue or funding increases. About 600 jobs will be cut between CBC and Radio-Canada, and another 200 vacancies will be eliminated. The cuts amount to about 10% of the workforce. The CBC is facing a $125 million budget shortfall.
More job cuts when it comes to the music streaming service Spotify. They're cutting about 1,500 jobs. That's about 17% of its global workforce. It's the company's third round of layoffs this year as it tries to cut costs and focus on becoming profitable. The Stockholm-based company posted a net loss of about $500 million US for the 9 months of this year.
Canadian toy retailer Mastermind has announced that 18 of its 66 stores are closing. It is selling the bulk of its business to Unity Acquisitions. The deal includes the majority of Mastermind store locations, but will allow for a significant number of Mastermind's 800 employees to stay with the business. 9 Mastermind stores in Ontario will close, along with 4 in Alberta, 2 in New Brunswick, and 1 each in British Columbia, Nova Scotia, and Manitoba. Mastermind filed for creditor protection last month. The federal NDP's agriculture critic says he's seen the plans by Canada's grocers to stabilize food prices, and he's not impressed. Alistair McGregor says major grocers agreed to share their plans with members of the House of Commons Agricultural Committee. He says that while the committee agreed to keep the contents of the plans confidential, MPs could have found much of it what they were looking in by going into their flyers or doing a Google search. Grocery prices were up nearly 5.5% in October, higher than the overall inflation rate of 3.1%. Canada's intelligence agency says the criminal use of cryptocurrency in this country is expected to grow. The agency has been developing strategic intelligence on the role that cryptocurrency plays in things like money laundering and financing terrorist activity. FinTrack says the most prevalent form of money laundering using cryptocurrency is the movement of proceeds from fraud and ransomware attacks. The price of Bitcoin is up 150% this year, and it surged to an 18-month high yesterday. Fueling this latest rally are the prospects for the possible approval of a Bitcoin exchange traded fund. It's an investment product that can be bought and sold like stocks. A Canadian research project that's looking to revolutionize energy production is getting a $5.5 million boost from Canada's Strategic Innovation Fund. General Fusion has been working on a design for a fusion energy generator in Richmond, BC. That's a machine that can produce energy by fusing molecules together and has zero carbon emissions. So far, the technology has been purely theoretical. In December of last year, researchers in the U.S. were able to achieve net energy gain, but only in a highly controlled environment and only during the reaction. It still costs more energy to power up the device. General Fusion says they're looking to hit that milestone by 2026 and says their machine is more cost-effective and highly scalable. They're looking to commercialize fusion energy by the early to mid-2030s. There was a segment on 60 Minutes about this. Fascinating, and could be the real future. You have nuclear energy and then you have fusion energy. Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a quick break right now while you explain that. Brian's going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast.
Google, could you explain the fusion energy to me?
6:23, we made it to a Tuesday morning. We're just going to give you a quick traffic check here because there's really nothing going on. QEW east of Lake, nothing to see there. Top of the Skyway Bridge is moving okay. It's getting a bit busier, but that's about it. East of Appleby, nothing. Lorne Park looks good. We'll flip into the 403 at Dundas up from the Ford plant. No problems right there. Temperature has just come up a degree. We were -1 last hour. We're sitting at 0 for Hamilton. Winds, they're so light. Well, wind chill of -1, I'll mention it. 0 Grimsby, +1 Mississauga, 2 for Toronto. So, seasonal temperatures for this time of year. -5 for the overnight low. So, we're above seasonal. 2 for the daytime high. Sun times and records, of course, there. For school today, by first bell this morning, should still be about -1. Temperature could fluctuate a little bit this morning, but fairly cloudy, and then chance of some flurries for after school, and there's that +1 for later on. But we should hit 2 for the day today. That'll be mid-afternoon, and then temperature will fall off to -6 overnight. Yeah, it's going to be pretty chilly. Thankfully, the winds will be light. Tomorrow, -1 with a wind chill of -3, but at least tomorrow we'll get some sunshine. So enjoy that because, well, Look, not much sunshine there. 3 and mixing on Thursday, Friday cloudy and 5, all the way to 8, but we get some showers in for Saturday and for Sunday. That's your forecast. I'm at Tim.
Okay. Now a lesson in language.
Kids' language.
Something we learned.
With the younger people. Do you have Riz?
If you've been around anyone under the age of 25, chances are you've heard it or been told whether or not you have Riz. So this is the Oxford Word of the Year for 2023. It's derived from charisma, and Riz refers to a person's ability to attract a romantic partner through style, charm, or attractiveness.
The Oxford Dictionary says the word received more than 32,000 votes from the public for the top spot. Other contenders for Word of the Year were prompt, the instruction given to an AI program that influences the content it creates.
There's situationship, which is a romantic partnership that's not quite formal.
Okay, I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
And lastly, Swiftie, the name given to an avid fan of Taylor Swift. So I have heard of Riz because I had a conversation. It came up maybe when
In our newsroom.
Well, I think it might have been even when Emily was filling in for you. Emily Taylor might have
Okay.
been, and maybe it came up. And then I talked to somebody, Eric, one of our reporters.
Yeah.
Like I asked him
Simone
about it.
knew where.
Simone knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the. Hang around with the young kids. They know what's going on. They got their finger on the pulse. Never heard of it before, but there you go. Word of the year, Riz. Do you have Riz?
R-I-Z-Z. There we go. Okay, stay with us. We've got more to come after the break.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.